Welcome back, everybody. Chris here, all in one gaming generation. Today, I got a special video for you guys. We are going to be taking a deeper dive into Draconic Duelist, the trait primarily, and we'll look at some of the strengths, weaknesses, and some of the decks that you can play with it, and look at what the card and archetype is. So, to start off with, we're going to give you the general breakdown of what is this deck and pretty much what you can expect when you pick up this deck, sleeve it up, and start playing it. So this deck came out in BPO9. It is definitely classified as a mid-range / ramp deck. This deck has some great removal. Every turn you have consistent ways to remove a good amount of cards on board, which is the staple of what this game wants to do. And who doesn't like cheap followers? This deck for sure has it. So pretty good. Let's move on to our next topic of the keywords, and we're going to go over pretty much some of the keywords that you can primarily see in this deck. If you do not see the keyword on here, it is because the keywords aren't really prevalent in the archetype. So with that, the deck has a lot of Bane followers. As you see, it's the highest one on the chart. Next we have a good amount of Assail, same with Ward. And these are cards that you're going to be playing consistently throughout the game, so it is very prevalent to be in the deck. We have a good amount of Evolve followers. There's a lot of Rush in the deck, a lot of Storm. The graph doesn't do it justice, but there's a lot of Storm. And there's a lot of Engage effects that you'll be using throughout your time playing the deck. So, pretty good spread of keywords. Now, we're going to talk about the consistency, because the consistency is what makes or break a deck 90% of the time. So there is not a lot of outright drawing in the deck. There's a good amount of shuffling and searching. This is because the deck likes to summon 1 or 2 cards a turn out of your deck, and this requires you to shuffle your deck afterwards, which means there's not a lot of times where your deck will get stuck at the bottom. So if you ever feel like you bottom decked a very good card and very valuable card, fear not, because you will probably summon, search, and then shuffle again to find the cards that you need. So that is pretty much a consistency. It's a very consistent deck. You're going to be able to find the stuff that you need most of the game. So now we're going to move on to removal. Big thing. Removal, you have to get rid of your opponent's cards as effectively as you can each turn. So a lot of the time in this deck, you will be attacking. You will be using that Bane keyword skill a lot, since Bane is on most of the keyword skills, and also you will be using all the Storm that is available for you to swing on that first turn. As far as ping damage, we have a good amount of 1 to 3 damage that the deck does, and a subtle amount of 4 to 6 damage that you can just pink followers for, and not a lot of 7 to 10 damage or really banishing. And there's 1 card that destroys, so primarily again you're going to be attacking and pinging for less. And this really comes into effect when you go over your overall game plan. And like any other dragon deck, we want to survive the early game. And specifically with this deck, you're going to want to stack your amulet, which we will go over a little later in the video. And a lot of the effects as we ramp play into overflow. This is an overflow deck for sure. And the little gimmick here is you want to keep at least 3 Draconic Duelists on the board to cheat out your other Draconic Duelist cards and get their buffs and their other effects, so you can pressure life with Storm and then overall burn with the amulet, because you have summoned and cheated out so many Draconic Duelist cards that your opponent just wants to give up at that point. So that's pretty much the overall game plan of the deck. And here is a brief meta matchup outlook for everybody who is looking to see how does this fare against the current BPO 9 meta, and we'll probably update this as we go on to BP 10, 11, and so on. But as far as our testing that we have done, it has a very positive matchup against vampires, and after that, that's all it got, really. Aggro Sword, it's very hard, and Earthright, which is another one of the big 3, you're going to be struggling, but you can make it work most of the games if you see your cards that you need at the exact point that you need them. So for us, it's a tier 2 deck, and yeah, let's look at some of the cards that are in the archetype. Alright guys, so let's talk about the cards that you will see in the Draconic Duelist trait. Again, we were going mostly over the Draconic Duelist trait and nothing else like Cutthroat or any supporting stuff for it until we get to the deck list. And I'll let you guys theory craft on what you guys think is the best way to build the deck. But from our testing, we came up with a pretty decent way to play the deck, and I think the correct way that the devs kind of intended. So we're going to do a quick scan here, and if you will see, there is a good amount of 1-3 cost, and as we get up to the 4 cost cards, there's not much. So as stated earlier in the video, a lot of cheat cards, so we're just going to roll straight into it, explaining what these cards can do, and maybe some little tips and tricks that you can do with each of them. So first one, Hypersonic Draconic. It's a 1 cost 2/1. While there is another Draconic Duelist card on your field, this follower gets Russian Assailed. And if Overflow is active for you, you may pay 1 and search your deck for another copy of this and summon it straight onto your field. So if this is the only card on the board, you will not get that Russian Assail. But if you are able to summon another one, you will have Russian Assail on both of them. With the amulet, which we will talk about later, with that being a card, key thing card, it's a follower, it says card, you have that on board, this card is pretty much always live to have Russian Assail as long as that token is on the board. So pretty cool card, great for removal, and very needed in the deck. So next we'll move on to the next very needed card in the deck, and that is Masamune Raging Dragon. It's a 2 cost 2/2 with Bane, Fanfare, if there's at least 3 Draconic Duelist cards, keyword cards, on the field. Give this follower +2/+2 in Storm. This allows you to either swing at something that is a threat that maybe might be too big on the board and just outright kill it because of Bane, or you get to swing for Storm damage straight to face, which will usually be 4 to 6 damage, thanks to the amulet also. So yeah. Next one we have is the Katakura. It is a 2-drop 2/2, same stats as Masamune, but this one allows you to evo for 1, and Fanfare, you get to select another Draconic Duelist follower on your field, and if Overflow is active for you, give it +1/+1. And sadly, I wish they did take off the if Overflow was active for you. I just wish you were able to get the +1/+1 without Overflow, but I guess I guess it would be too broken or something, I don't know. But that is the unevolved form. Moving on to the evolved form of it. On evolve, you get to look at top 4 cards of your deck, and you may reveal a Draconic Duelist follower from among them, and add it to your hand, and put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And as we talked about earlier, bottom decking doesn't really matter in this deck because you can just search, summon, and shuffle, and you really don't lose a card when you go to the bottom of the deck. So, next one we have is the Dragoon Scyther. This is a 2-drop 2/2, as you are seeing a running theme of things being 2-drop 2/2s. This one has Bane, and also while there's another Draconic Duelist card on the field, this follower has Storm, keyword, again, card. So amulet, need that amulet. So, this card's really good for just good early game removal, and can actually help you close out the game with the extra Storm damage that you can play off. Because for this one, all you do need is just another card with Draconic Duelist on board to have that Storm. So let's go on to the next one, being the Dragonclad Blade Master. This one allowing you to have some removal, but good thing this one is a 2-drop 3/2, so we're getting a little better here. This one lets you engage pretty much once per turn, and you get to select a follower on the field and deal it 3 damage. Sadly, you have to have the 3 Draconic Duelist cards on your field, so it makes it a little bit hard, and you'll have to sequence it pretty well to be able to use this pretty effectively. But overall, it's still I believe, a good and needed card in your deck list to help you remove some of these wide boards that can come up against you. So next we have the star of the deck, which is pretty much what you want to see every single game. If you don't see this card, you pretty much lose, and makes you want to ponder on why you even bought this deck. So yeah, Romelia, 3-drop, 1/3. We're going a bit down from our 2/2s, but I guess we made it back up with having 3 defense. But it has an evo for 1, and it has Bane. Again, we see the Bane trait. Last words: if there's an Aftershock on your field, place a lightning counter on it. And if you don't have one on field, you get to summon one. So we'll move on to the Aftershock token here in a second. But on Evolve, you now have Assail and Bane, and once this gets played, you get to select an enemy follower on the field, and if you have your amulet on the field, not specifically the Aftershock, you can have any amulet on field and be able to deal 3 damage to something. So, and last words: once this leaves the field, you get to place a lightning counter on your Aftershock, and if you don't have your Aftershock, you get to summon it. So this card's really good. You will be looping this card pretty much all game. A lot of the times you might go through all 3 copies of the base and Evo, because the removal on this card is just really good. Being able to ping something for 3, and then Assail into something else, which also hidden has Rush because you evolved it, and it has Bane. You're almost guaranteed to remove 2 things. So let's move on to the Aftershock token, and we'll go back to Roy, because the Aftershock token is another thing that if you don't have this card, it makes it really hard to play the deck. So I wouldn't say as much as not seeing Romelia. Like, if your Aftershock token gets removed, it's not too much of a big deal because you can just play it again. But whenever a Draconic Duelist follower is put onto your field, place a lightning counter on this card, and then you get to engage these for 2 effects. You can only select 1 effect at a time. For the first effect, you get to select a dragon follower on your field and give it +2, and you can only activate this if it has 5 lightning counters, which means you have played 5 Draconic Duelist cards after this has been summoned on the field. And then the next one is if you have 10 lightning counters, you get to engage this and select a follower on the field, destroy it, and deal 3 damage to its leader. So it's very good, and it becomes a problem the longer this pretty much gets stacked up. And it is very integral to your win con, because that extra 3 damage and just being able to destroy something every turn is very nice once you get past Overflow and get into those late turns where people are scrounging for resources. So a very good card, a very needed card. Could be better, but we're just in BPO and I'm sure it will be better. So moving back over to Roy. Roy's a 3-cost, 2/2. Evo for 1, you get to search your deck for a 2-cost spell, reveal it, and add to your hand and shuffle your deck. And 2-cost dragon spell to be specific. So that is very good to help you with some removal and getting a specific spell that you might need on the next turn. And then on Evo, you get to select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage, and a little extra added bonus. If it is a Wormkin follower, you get to deal 5 damage instead. With my graph, this is the only 5 damage or above that you can do really in the deck, and it's very situational and it's unreliable most of the time, but it's there, so I put it there. And next we have Gargly. Very good card in the deck. Allows you to keep your hand size, because your hand size is going to be dwindling as you keep summoning things and playing things for cheap. So it's a 4-cost, 4/5, rush and ward. It has a fanfare that if there's at least 3 Draconic Duelist cards on your field, draw 2 cards. Very, very good. Helps you stabilize, helps you get back your hand and be able to go on to doing everything else you need to do in the deck. The third stable card that is very needed in the deck is Pure Voice Dragoon. It's a 5-drop, 3/4. You get to search your deck for a Draconic Duelist follower that costs 4 or less, summon it, and then shuffle your deck. And then if Overflow is active for you, you get to heal 3, which is very nice, which is, you know, we want to get the effects of it all the time, but you might have to play one of these a bit earlier because summoning a card for free is really good. So, and the last card that we have here is Poseidon, which is a 8-drop 4/7, has Ward, and you get to search your deck for 2 Draconic Duelist followers with different names that cost 2 or less, summon them, and then shuffle your deck. So another big bomb of you being able to spam out some of your Draconic Duelist cards and help you win the game through getting their effects, because this puts a immediate 3 on the board, and actually, if you have the amulet, an immediate 4 Draconic Duelist cards on board. So it's very nice. It's not completely needed in the deck, but to each your own, and how you how the meta plays out and all that good stuff. It depends on how many copies of this card you run and all the other cards, really. So that is pretty much all the cards in Draconic Duelist currently for BPO9, and we're definitely going to look at, hopefully they bring some more and make it a little bit better, because again, this is, in our terms, sitting at a good tier 2 deck. If you like one-trick this deck and stuff like that, you could definitely want original, but I'm seeing this deck as topping at most. So yeah, that's pretty much all the cards, and we're gonna go into 2 little example deck lists that we have for you, and let you guys pretty much ponder about what you want to build and what the other supporting traits is needed to make this deck really good. So this is a deck that we had from the community. Shout out to Devine for making this and popping at one of our tournaments here. But we have the Hypersonic Dragonute, the Dragonclad, the Scyther, the Katakura, the Masamune, the Realmia, pretty much all the Draconic Duelist cards, which you see a running theme in the next deck too. Like, you just need all the Draconic Duelist cards. But for our defense, Blazing Breath definitely needed to help you pretty much survive the early game, and then you get the added effect of Overflow being able to deal 4 damage to something. Dragon's Nest, this is very nice for you to establish a different amulet before turn 3, just in case you don't get Realmia on turn 3, but you having the amulet on board allows you to pretty much get Realmia's effect at all times when you play it the first time, because all she needs is an amulet on board to get the deal 3 damage to something. So, and this kind of scales as we go on into Overflow, which allows you to heal 2 and draw a card. Again, keep your hand size for later in the game when you really need it, because you've been spamming out some cards. And Anna Rose, pretty good. Little flavor in his deck. Again, you guys can choose exactly how you want to build it, but I think this card is really good for pretty much finding the cards you need, because a lot of the cards on here, they do have the Dragonute trait as their second trait. So it's synergy and it works for you. Again, find what works the best. Another thing in the deck, Dark Dragoon Forte is very good, because we like Storm in this deck, and this card has Storm and it does a lot of Storm damage. So paired with the Masamune and Fortes, a lot of the times that is going to be your main sources of damage that are going to go straight to face and help you win the game. And we do need some like closers and finishers, just in case you can't get past some of the wards, or you can't do that exact amount of damage that you need. But a lot of the time, if you get your opponent down to 15 to 10 lives after turn 7 or 8, like you can reliably finish the game in those next, if not that turn, the next turn. So a card like Azidahaka is very good, because you will be going through your Realmias a lot. So, having those finishers, those big bodies to help you, because we are overflow and ramping a lot. You will be ahead of the curve 9 times out of 10. And yeah, very good. And then Jerva is a very good other card that you can play. So yeah. And moving on to the second deck list. Pretty much, again, the same thing with the same theme of having all the Draconic Duelist cards on here, some searchers, and then some finishers to help you close out the game however you think the game needs to be closed out. So, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to be doing some more of these. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next, what trait you've always wondered if it's good or not, and how it plays against the meta. And if you're looking to get better, or if you're looking for people to just come and test with you and come join a tournament scene that allows you to go out there to win at regionals, come join us in the Discord, come join us on the Patreon so we can help serve you guys and allow you guys to be the best players that you want to be and fulfill that fantasy of just being on top. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.